It's time to chit-chat about the chapters that we read this week. I'm Austin. She is.
I'm Lauren.
And hello, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us once again this week. Lauren, how you doing?
Good. It's been a good reading bit. We've been reading lots, and it's been fantastic.
Lots of reading. Very, very
Always.
good. I've been on the road quite a bit, so I was actually able to finish 2 audiobooks. So
Look at you.
I know I'm well on my way to being an actual reader.
Have you read books? You're a reader. End of discussion.
End of discussion. Very good. Yeah. No, that's the only qualifier is have read book or book read to you. Good enough.
Yep.
So, what are the books that you finished this week?
This week, so I did finish The 1,000th Floor. I decided not to DNF it,
Okay.
but also to be fair, it didn't get any better.
Oh.
And so it's like it markets itself as Gossip Girl set in New York in the future.
Uh-huh.
That would be really cool if they did it well, but they didn't.
Dang.
It didn't have high enough stakes to be Gossip Girl. I didn't care about any of the gossipy girl drama, like all the things that I didn't care. They did not do a good job of like fleshing out how the stakes were high for these things.
Uh-huh.
It was just rich people and poor people intermingling and going to parties. Cool, I don't care.
Yeah.
And the futuristic aspect of this just continued to take me out of the book. They like drink alcohol, but it's not called alcohol. It's called like some of their drugs were spokes or something like that. And they drank alcohol out of bubbles, and it felt futuristic for the sake of being futuristic, not realistically advanced, if that makes sense.
It wasn't additive in any way.
Correct. And and there was so much. Nothing was the same. And so for them to be like, oh yeah, and then we ate these one type of gummy bears that if you eat them wrong, they scream because they're bears. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, that's just too much. It also took me like halfway through this book to realize that the reason there are streets on each of these floors is because this building is city blocks wide. Because of the image here, I think of apartments. I don't think of like city blocks on each of these floors. So
Sure.
they'd be like, yeah, I'm going up to the 800th floor and taking a hover down the street. And I'm like, where are we hovering? I'm confused. But then like, it took me so long to realize that that's because it's like if you stack Vegas resorts on top of each other, where it's just all these like, there are restaurants and businesses and shopping on each floor because it's so big. But in the beginning, they didn't do a good job of building that up. Mm-hmm. So it was really, really hard to get into. So 2 stars on that one. That was like, I cared enough about the characters themselves. I just didn't care what was going on in it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And then I also, though, did read an e-arc. It was Drive Me Crazy by Lizzie Dent. This one comes out in January. And it was so cute. It's an F1 romance. Comes out January 6th. Yeah. So thank you to NetGalley and GP Putnam Sons. I haven't read a whole lot of F1 books. I haven't really gotten into the F1 world like at all. But the F1 added a lot of really fun aspects that like, it made it a little bit of a combination of like a sports romance where it's like, oh, they're playing games and they have to be like in peak physical form and whatever, while also adding the like competition of like building up something because there are like only a few races and it's way higher stakes and all this kind of stuff. So it was highly, highly recommend to pre-order it because it was adorable. I rated that a solid 4 stars, 3.75, 4 stars. Very, very close. Like it was so cute and thought out. It was one of those that was, if you don't like insta-love, it kind of felt a little insta-lovey,
Sure.
but only because it was more of like the forbidden romance type of thing. So they were like all about it, but she's the crew manager and he's the primary driver.
Oh, okay.
So like,
gotcha.
So they're not supposed to be, but they're like childhood friends who lost touch, and it was just very well done. It was so cute. I just flew through it.
Very nice. Very, very good. All right.
What about you?
I finished I for this week I have finished 3 books, which is pretty impressive for me. I had already talked about The Library of Mount Char.
Yep.
I finished that book, and it's a very dude book. If if you listen to last week's episode or the week before, I can't remember which, but talked about how one of the main bad guys like had it made my top 3 WTF did I just read stories with like his hair not like being basically hardened blood, and it was enough to create a helmet, and it ended up being a very interesting story about like compassion and perspective, and how what is going on in your world, even though it is your entire world, isn't necessarily what the world around you is experiencing. And it's the story of a girl killing God to then become God is effectively the story behind it. And so, but I was like, oh, okay, we're really getting to the end here when she eventually like becomes God, and there were still like 6 hours left in the audiobook, and I was like, what do we mean? What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's everything comes to there. The first half is very what am I reading, but it keeps you pulling you forward, and then the end all comes together. It's really well done. Very good book. Some very gross things happen. So if you're not into gore, if you're not into like, there is not an explicit rape scene, but it's very clear that like that happens, and so it's some dark stuff, but it still was at the end of the day, I enjoyed the read and would recommend it. I ended up I would give it 4.5 stars, but it's a weird 4.5 stars because I don't know if I would recommend this to everybody.
Yeah, I get that. That's like one of
Yeah.
those like for me, I enjoyed it so much, but also like I don't know that I could just
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good good vibe.
Yeah. Then the other audiobook that I started and finished is the first Stephanie Plum book, One for the Money by
I
Janet
love
Economou.
those books.
I'm so hooked. I'm 100% on board. I know there's like 40 of them to get through. I think they're 32.
27? No, yeah,
No,
32.
they're into the 30s at this
Yeah,
point.
32. So my mom has read all of them. My mom is a big Stephanie Plum person. It's one of the only book series that she'll actually like read.
Yeah.
And oh my god, so I've read up to like I think 4 or 5 just because there's so many other. That's a whole consuming world. You could just read those books and be totally
Yeah.
fine. I love those books so much.
First one, phenomenal. Absolutely wonderful. The perfect amount of playfulness with like,
Yep.
but also like genuinely like creepy villain, like creepy bad
yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
That with some really good twists and turns, very funny, like romance kind of like not explicitly romance, but it still like had
There's
the love
banter.
interest.
They be bantering.
Absolutely, and so it really was. It was a wonderful listen. Highly recommend it. I ended up
narrates
giving it. Huh?
Who narrates it? Do you know?
This one was narrated by, I can tell you in just a second, as long as I didn't return the audiobook, which I did. So, give me 1 second. Timeline. One for the Money by Janet Ivanovich, narrated by CJ Crit,
Okay.
which I have been told that later, like the first like 4 or 5 books, each have a different narrator, and then by like the 5th or 6th book, they settle in on one narrator, and it's not CJ Crit, even though she did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
So, I think
I love that.
I gave this book 4 stars purely just based on like it's just kind of fluffy.
It's vibes. It's a
It's all
vibe read.
vibe. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 100%. But it is a book that I would recommend to almost anybody.
Yes. Yes. 1000% yes.
And then a book that we're actually going to get into a little bit later is Nothing Like the Movies by Lynn Painter. I finished that book. It took me way too long to finish that book, and it was mostly just because work has been crazy, and it's a physical book. I always struggle with like picking up a physical book, putting the phone down, like all that sort
Yeah.
of stuff. So, but I loved it. 5 star, 4.5 stars, 4.5 stars rounded up to 5 stars. And we'll actually get into that a little bit later on the show.
Heck yeah.
A little tease action right there.
Do
Uh,
it.
Coming up is a segment called "It Gets Good," where, well, do you have to read all the stuff beforehand, or can you just start where it gets good? We'll find out. But what are you reading this week? What are you in the middle of?
We picked up First Time Caller. We're doing it.
Liz,
I'm
Liz listened to that or read
I'm
it.
so excited. I am like 3 pages in, is all. I finished the first chapter, and I'm already so obsessed with this book.
Yeah.
There's a line he just sits there and goes, Jackson, which is fun. It's fun to know that there's already another book coming and who those characters follow, because then I love watching their moments a little bit more intently. But like, there's just this moment where he sits there and goes, I bet he was up at 5, done with his workout by 6, and making some of his hipster coffee by 7. Meanwhile, I'm wearing a sweatshirt I found draped over the edge of my bed. I'm pretty sure there's pasta sauce on it. I'm like, this is the second page. These are the vibes. I'm here. I'm sat. 100%.
Nice.
Yep. What about you?
I have started Iron Flame. Yeah. I'm
Awesome.
about 170 pages in to Iron Flame, and I have to tell you, I am a little disappointed.
You should be.
I am a little
So,
disappointed.
You should be. It's fine. So the thing about Iron Flame is that she was rushed by her, and she has said this. She was rushed by her author to get, and by everybody, the community, to get it out. So it's about 200 pages longer than she would like it, which means it is slower than she would like.
Okay.
That also means it drags in the beginning.
Well,
Then the second half gets better. But she has said that it is not her favorite book, and it's not even like, I mean, she's proud of it. Obviously, she wrote a book, but it's not like what she wanted it to be, which is why there's going to be such a long pause before the fourth book, because she refuses to do Iron Flame again and rush something just to get it out.
That makes sense. And, the parts that feel dragged out are the stuff between Violet and Xaden. Because one of my least favorite tropes of sequels is where the first book is, I don't know if I can trust you. And then they have this moment where they come together and it's like, oh, I can finally trust you. And then the sequel is, what do you mean I can't trust you again?
Yeah.
I hate that.
Didn't we figure this out?
We already figured this out. Like, I understand there's a little nuance to it with Iron Flame, but still it's just like, dog, come on. Like, give me something else. There's
nuance, but the nuance on it makes more sense in Onyx Storm than it does in Iron Flame.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Like,
and the other part that I'm like, we've already, and I understand you can't just have your two main characters go at it every single time. It's not that kind of book. And that the anticipation is part of the reason why that romance worked so well in the first book. But still, it's like, they've already banged, dude. Like, come on. So, I'm, again, 180 pages in. I'm excited to keep on going, and it's good. It's just not.
Yeah, no, it's not Fourth Wing.
Yeah.
But this is going to be my favorite thing ever, is getting to experience you reading this. I cannot wait for the discussions that happen around this book.
Very good.
Yes. I'm so freaking excited.
I hope I can finish in a reasonable amount of time.
You got years.
We
You got plenty of
so much.
time. You got years.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The book that I'm listening to in the car is Jeffrey Deaver's The Never Game, which is the first in the Coulter Shaw Tracker series, where Coulter Shaw, Tracker was the CBS show that was made from it. I think it was CBS. But basically, this guy makes his money by tracking down people. He's not a bounty hunter. He finds lost people. And he uses his skills that he learned from homeschooling and having a crazy parent and all that sort of stuff to, track people down, find them, and return them home kind of situation. So
You're a long series kind of guy, aren't you?
I just like being able to go from one to the. Uh, I like audiobook, not having to choose a new audiobook is basically
That's
what I
fair.
like. So like the the Harry Dresden series was wonderful because it had 19 books in the series, and they were all 10 hours, 11 hours long.
Yeah.
Some of the longer ones were 16. Narrator was great, my kind of world. And so it was like, all right, as soon as one was done, I knew exactly what the next one was going to be. And
That's fair.
when that series was over, and I was like, well, damn it. Now I need to find a new thing to listen to in the car. So that's where I've picked, actually, the last three audiobooks I listened to, other than Library of Mount Char, is the first of long series.
Yeah.
Stephanie Plum, Coulter Shaw, and Longmire. I listened to
Oh
the
yeah.
first ones of all those, and so yeah, it's just it's how I roll,
Yeah. I'm over here like my audiobook is Spare. I'm finally getting around to
Yeah.
Prince Harry's Spare.
Ah, did
Yep.
he narrate it?
Yep.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah.
Always makes it
I
better.
love I love a good memoir for an audiobook. That's almost always what I got going in audio.
Yeah, makes sense. But all right, well, we got a lot to get to this episode. Shall we get to it?
Absolutely.
It gets good. This was one of the first segments that I thought of that felt pretty original. I'm going to be
Yeah.
honest. When Lauren and I were first we were on Snapchat. I was definitely not driving. That was not happening. I was definitely
No. Don't do
safely,
that.
yeah, 100%. We were texting back and forth trying to think of different ideas for segments, and this popped into my head. It gets good. We all know book series or movies or whatever where you're like, you got to get through the first 300 pages and then it gets really, really good. Or you got to get to the third book, and once you hit the
Yep.
third book, then it gets really, really good. Well, forget that. I don't want that. I want it to be
No.
good.
Yeah.
So, here's the question. Do you have to read all the stuff ahead of that, or can you just start when it gets good?
Right.
And so, Lauren, this first one, we teased it a little bit in the first segment, is Lynn Painter's Better Than the Movies, and the sequel, Nothing Like the Movies.
Which actually I'll like make sure it's in like the description of all of this because I found an Instagram post that if you want to read them in the correct order, it's not technically better than the movies, then nothing like the movies. If you want to follow the Lynn-verse,
What?
if you want to follow the Lynn-verse and meet the characters in her world, you got to kind of do it a little bit different. Now we can still better than and nothing than and compare
Yeah.
just the two, but you can actually do a little bit more of a deep dive, including Betting on You, Fake Skating, her one that just came out, and The Do-Over, and make it like a 5-book thing instead of a 2-book thing.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Whoa, that's crazy. That's wild.
I love when books like have a few characters that have a nod to it. When I was in high school, I read all the Sarah Dessen books. It was very popular for my high school era, and she does that where she'll like have a character that like for one book it'll be like, oh, the main character has like red hair and is always running, and then in the next book the main character of that one will be sitting on a bench waiting for a character, and she'll see a girl with a red hair ponytail go running by. And so you know that that's who it is, and it has like these little subtle Easter eggs for people that are really invested in her world. And so like that started a love for Easter eggs a long time ago.
Liz has read, and Liz is my wife. For everyone who doesn't know, I'll say Liz all the time. Daisy Jones and the Six.
Yes, that whole Daisy Jones, Seven Husbands, and Malibu Rising.
Yes,
Same thing.
She has read all three of those, and she loves telling me all how they all just fit together. And it's not big; it's just little moments.
They're just little
So,
things for the reader that just
Yeah.
so make it so much better. Yeah.
100%. So for this first one, I unwittingly read Nothing Like the Movies before reading, and I'm not going to read Better Than the Movies. I'm telling you this right now. I'm not going to. Oh, you're devastated by this.
It takes place in Nebraska.
So does all of Lynn Painter's books.
I know, but that's the point. Lauren has bias. Obviously, that's where that comes from. Okay,
Lauren, I live in Nebraska. I don't need my fictional stories told in the place that I am.
no, it's fictional. To be fair, from a story perspective, sure, fine, do you?
Uh-huh.
But I also loved Better Than the Movies. Now, I
Yeah.
will, because, like, full transparency, I have not read Nothing Like the Movies.
Okay.
I just know enough about it that, like, it's still going to be great. But, like, I do really like that Nothing Like the Movies is more from his perspective.
Yes.
And, like, that's, I think, really unique. And I will say that, who's the female main character?
Liz.
Yeah, Liz.
Yeah.
She's pretty quirky in the first book, you know? I mean,
And she's not in the second one.
because she's in high school in the first book. In the second book, they're in college. It makes
Yes.
a lot of sense. So, I mean, to be fair, if you did mess up and read Better or Nothing Like the Movies first, I agree that I don't think you have to go back. That being said, if you still want a YA and you're starting fresh in the universe, I would still pick up Better Than the Movies first.
Yeah. Well, so it's really interesting. So I picked up Nothing Like the Movies on accident because at Target there was a buy one book get one book free thing, and
those days.
so Liz bought a book and I was like, I don't know, and I looked around and I saw this one and it was baseball, it was romance, the main female character's name was Liz. Great, got it, grabbed it, and it wasn't until I put it on Goodreads that I was reading it, and then I was like, oh, this is number 2. Huh. Interesting.
And you still just decided to say, screw
I
it,
was
I'm still
already
gonna read that.
like four chapters in or whatever, and I understood everything. Like
Yeah.
there's not a moment where I was confused in this whole book. Like
Yeah,
there are
they're
a couple-
still very interconnected. Like, they're still standalones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I it really feels that way, and even like it got into moments, which I'll kind of get into a little bit later. But there were moments where it clearly was referencing like their spot, and it's like I don't 100% know what their spot is, but I understand the emotion that goes with the
Fair.
spot. So I don't really need that necessarily. There's one scene with their friends from high school. Everyone else is a brand new character because
Yeah.
it's 2 years later. They're in college at UCLA. They are not in Nebraska, and so everyone and so and so everyone's a new character, and it felt
Yeah.
fine. Like I really enjoyed this book, and really the reason why I'm not going to go back and read Better Than the Movies is because two things. The first one is my sisters have both read both of these books, and they agree that Nothing Like the Movies is better than the movies.
Oh, I've heard that across the board. Absolutely. I'm
So
also
I'm not
just a
gonna-
completionist. I'm
not going to go
so,
back
like,
and read something that's
Right.
worse.
No, 100%. Yeah.
And this from how what's a right way of putting this? How satisfying Nothing Like the Movies was. If I were to go back and read Better Than the Movies, I think I would only be disappointed because Nothing Like the Movies is such a nuanced story that while having the backstory is probably great, it just was so wonderful the whole time. You don't need it,
Yep.
you know?
No, that's fair. That's fair.
And so,
So,
explain
which I
Better
do-
Than the Movies a little bit to me, because the Nothing Like the Movies starts with basically the moment that he officially broke everything off.
Yeah.
And that's obviously not in Better Than the Movies.
No.
So explain
Better
that
Than
a
the
little
Movies, Yeah, TLDR, Better Than the Movies is enemies to lovers. So they're like high school rivals. They
Uh-huh.
were friends when they were like little because they're neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
And he was that like typical boy. He was icky, had, whatever. He was mean when he was little. And so then in high school, she basically was like, oh, he's the worst, whatever. And they have this parking spot that they used to fight over because they were not enough in the driveway. Cool, for their cars. And she really likes one of the popular kids, whatever, and she finds out that he's friends. It's a popular kid that comes to their school that used to be friends with the three of them when they were little. Three of them, one of them moves away, comes back. Cool. And basically, like, she ends up recruiting his help to teach her how to interact with this other third person. So
Gotcha.
that's where all the tropes come in. That's he reverse pretty woman's her and like but it's all because she has said that if he does this, he gets the parking spot. Is kind of what like introduced them together to reconvene on this like journey. And so like it's a lot more YA because like they're in high school, they go to like a party and it goes really badly because who drinks and who doesn't and all those types of things and like whatever. But like it's much more, it's obviously from her perspective, so it's a lot more of like the way she thinks about how their whole thing went down. And then then it ends up with them getting together.
Gotcha. Okay. I think that all of those things sound like worse tropes. Like I
For sure.
genuinely like I hearing all of those things I'm like, and genuinely like the idea of reading a high school romance does not intrigue 30-year-old Austin.
No. Mm-mm.
It just doesn't. And so I don't know why college feels better. Like they're 21, in the next book, but
I'm a decade removed from college,
I
I mean,
am.
we are a decade removed from it, but I agree. It's still I think partly because most of the time in college it's still like college was when I had like a job that I like did, and like I still interact with a lot of the people, I mean you, that I went to college
Yeah,
with.
fair.
So like I'm still very much connected to my college. Where like high school, I don't talk to a single person I went to high school with. I worked
Yeah.
at Pizza Hut. I didn't have a job that was my career, like I think there's so much more detachment from it. And it's just and high school inherently is just unserious. Like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
in high school preps you for college or beyond.
Yeah, quite honestly. Yeah, I think you're 100% right. And I agree with the take of like that's why I know I would never have picked up Better Than the Movies. I
Yeah.
like even before Nothing Like the Movies, I would have never picked up Better Than the Movies.
Yeah.
So
If
it's
that's the thing, is I think if you're a completionist, Better Than the Movies is still a fantastic YA book. Like, for them being in high school, I will say I really enjoyed it.
yeah.
Because because I'm intentionally reading all of my backlog, and so I still have a few books from high school that are YA that I have just not gotten to on my
Oh,
Kindle or whatever.
interesting.
And I'm like intentionally going through and reading them. Casey West is a fantastic example of a YA author that has started to write some adult books also. And her YAs are really hit and miss because sometimes they're just like cringe and I can't, but I've loved her adult writing. And so getting to go back and kind of read some of those older ones, it's really hit or miss for me on the YA, but I do still sometimes enjoy a high school one. It just has to be just right. It's way harder for me to hit the mark on those than obviously like it would have been. So like Better Than the Movies is still a like high school that hits the mark for me. And I think if you're a completionist, absolutely read it because it is a good book. If you don't care, if you're the Austin who like I'm not going to read about high school, then still don't let that deter you from not reading Nothing Like the Movies.
Yeah, I think that's a really great review of it. I think that's a really great review of it. And I truly like Nothing Like the Movies is the perfect amount of rom-com. It's the perfect amount of like the chase. The chase is the thing that I love.
Yeah.
In any romance, it's the anticipation. It's the when are we going to get to it? And the build to them finally like kissing and like getting that moment and then the quick pull away incredible. And then
Yeah.
of course it all comes together. We know how this
It's a romance.
it's a romance. We know how this is going to go.
Yeah.
And the moment when the two of them have officially like gotten all of their emotions out, like I was tearing up because I was like, this is, I just can feel in this writing how much love like these two feel for each other, and it
Yep.
just I cry at the drop of a hat. Like I seriously
Oh.
am so like like if something is meant to evoke emotions, it's going to evoke my emotions.
Yep.
And this book did that.
Yeah. Yep. I love that.
It was weird that it was in a park in McCook, Nebraska, because that's where I've been doing a lot of my reading is over my lunch break in McCook. And
Yeah, that's a wild experience for you.
yeah, it was just she loves it so much. Pull it
The
together.
armies, because that's all they have there.
Pull it together, Pastolka.
Which, okay, I do have one quick side tangent before we head on to our next segment.
Yeah.
Main character's name is Liz. How do
Yes.
you feel about reading a character that has the name of your significant other?
This one, fine. Because honestly, a lot of similarities.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So this one it drew me in
Okay.
more, and I would say that most of the time it draws me in more because
Okay.
I'm able to just feel a little bit more and kind of picture my wife a little bit more in those scenarios, and especially in a romance. Like I think romantically of my wife often, and so to have
Right.
a role play without my wife being present,
Yeah.
I'm pretty chill with that.
See, I'm the opposite. Ben
Are
can
you
be
really?
Ben can be the bad guy or the ex-boyfriend. He cannot be the main one because my Ben wouldn't do that. My Ben doesn't do that.
Oh,
My Ben would not
interesting.
do that. My Ben's not going to go move the car or whatever, steal the spot or whatever. That's not my Ben.
Oh, interesting.
But for Ben to be the asshole in the book, that's so far removed from my Ben that I'm like, it's
That
different.
is my Ben. No, I'm just...
Yeah, that one is mine.
I haven't run into Liz or Elizabeth as the bad guy yet, so I'm very curious what will happen
That's
when
fair.
that eventually happens.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Like, Elizabeth
yeah.
is a very popular name for decades worth of books.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm very curious now what's going to happen.
Yep.
Maybe
fun
we are
one.
exact opposites.
That'd be funny.
That would be really funny. All right, we got to get moving on with this podcast. We've got a draft. We're drafting our teams of the best villains coming up right next.
Alrighty, friends, here we go. We know them, we love them, we love to hate them. It's time for a little draft moment, villain style. We're going to go back and forth. We're going to flip a coin. We got a 5-man roster we got to fill with some bad boys, bad girls. A little bit of both.
All of the above.
All
If
the
they're
above.
bad and nasty, they're getting on this. I tell you what. All right. I don't have a coin on me, so let's just...
I have a YouTube coin flipper.
I was going to say, flip a coin. It's heads. I didn't decide what was
We
what.
didn't decide it was
I'm
entertainment.
an idiot. Goodness gracious. Oh my
We're so good at
gosh.
this.
All right, you call it. Heads or tails?
Tails.
Flip a coin. It's tails.
Okay, I'm starting
First
things
pick.
off. So
Alrighty.
we've decided 5 people, right?
Five
5-man
people.
team.
Yep, 5-man
Okay.
team, back and forth, from any books, any series, and just quantify why they are a villain. Of course, once the pick is in. So
Perfect. Okay. So, we're going to start things off super strong, but also completely like nobody's going to say this. The Love Haters, Catherine Center. This is one of the first arcs I read this year, but anyway, the main character has to go to a like beach house in Florida to do a Coast Guard video. She meets the main male character. Great. The villain in this story ends up being her boss, who happens to be his brother, and just
Ooh.
shows up to this beach house and is like, my girlfriend, how dare you? And she's like, what the hell? We're not dating.
Ooh.
One of the, like, best plot twists I have read in a romance book in so long. That this is, like, top tier villain in a rom-com. It was so good. We're, like,
Man.
less than 100 pages left in this book. And they're, like, having this moment out grilling. And he shows up. She had no idea that it was his brother. And so she's like, why the fuck is my boss here?
Yeah.
Only for it to come across, and then he comes up and goes, oh, my sweet baby. And she's like, no.
Dog. Incredible. Absolutely wonderful. That sounds horrible. That sounds like a horrible human being.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. So good in the best way. Yeah.
Okay. Pick number 1. I have mentioned my love for the Harry Dresden series. And there are a couple of villains to choose from, but the best villain in the entire series is Nicodemus Arcleon. Okay? His name is Nicodemus. He is the human leader of the Blackened Denarians, which the silver coins that Judas was given to to turn on Jesus, those now hold fallen angels, and he has been in contact with his fallen angel for hundreds of years and has been given the basically, this is how you live a long life, and they are now working together, demon and man, to just raise the Blackened Denarians and all that sort of stuff. And he is basically invulnerable, right? But he wears a noose around his neck, which is supposed to be the noose that Judas used to hang himself. And that's the only thing that can, like, hurt him.
Okay,
Yeah.
Achilles.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. And he's so smart, and he's so there's one of the key parts of the Harry Dresden series is that he teams up with guys who are the Knights of the Cross. Now, of course, I'm Catholic. I would love a good Catholic character. Like,
Yep.
Yeah. Michael is one of the Knights of the Cross, and the swords that they hold are forged from the nails that were used on Jesus. And so they're these holy warriors, but their whole thing is that they are not there to smite evil. They are there to save the souls of these people who hold on to the coins of the Blackened Denarius. And one of the things that Nicodemus has done over and over and over again is he will get caught, he will be beaten, and he will look up at Michael or one of the Knights of the Cross, and he will relinquish his coin and say, I surrender. I will try to be a better person now. And so then they cannot kill him because every person can be redeemed. And then he knows that he's eventually going to get his coin back.
That's phenomenal.
It's so good. It's so good.
Oh, I love that. That's so,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good.
Yep. He's easily my favorite villain in any of the Harry Dresden books, and he's also my favorite villain, maybe overall. Like, there just isn't anyone who touches the cleverness, the pure evil of him, and it's kind of just evil for the sake of being evil.
Yeah.
Which I hate when villains have too much, like, oh, anyone can become a villain because they just see things in a different way, and it's like, oh, I feel bad for them. Forget that. I want to hate my villain. And I want to feel good about hating my villain.
For sure. No, 100%.
All right. We got some 2 good first picks. Give me your second pick.
I'm trying to decide which one to bring out next.
Okay.
These 2 are going to be very close.
Okay.
I think we're going to go on the I have no sympathy for my villain.
Okay.
President Snow.
Ooh.
President Snow with the Hunger Games.
Ah, yeah.
Obviously, the first 3 books, like, he's a bad dude. Cool. Yeah. And, like, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes did nothing to redeem him for me. I was still like, I don't care why he did this. In this book was his truest evil. Oh my gosh, I sobbed. I was so viscerally mad at him and the reasons he was doing the things that he was doing. I don't care. I don't care. It was so violent, so bad. I just he's a top tier villain for me.
That's incredible. Great pick. Really great pick.
Yeah, nope. And this book just did it in. So, fun side tangent, I made Ben sit through Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes without telling him that it was the villain origin story.
Nice, okay.
So, we get, like, almost done with the movie, and he's like, hey, he leans over to me and goes, I don't think this guy's gonna redeem himself. And I'm like, no, but in fact, he doesn't.
I'll tell you what, man. You are correct.
Actually, good call. Good call, sweetheart. But yeah, this is just the masterpiece that ties it all. That ties how bad he was and had gotten in the first 3, the original trilogy, with the, like, backstory of him. He did not redeem himself. He's not a lovable villain. He's just a villain. He's just a bad dude. He does bad shit, and it's gold.
Yeah, that's good. That's a great pick. Okay. Pick number 2. Just because I think that you might pick this villain, I'm going to pick her now. Amarantha from A Court of Thorns and Roses. Yeah. I know that a lot of people really want, like, I know when people think of the villain of ACOTAR, they don't necessarily think of Amarantha because she was just there for the first book. But
doesn't matter.
The way that she gets brought up by Rhys over and over, and like that, the PTSD of it, oh man. And she was just vile. The last third of A Court of Thorns and Roses, where Farah's under the mountain, is one of the most exciting, like 200 pages, 150 pages I've ever read. And it is all because Amarantha is such an awful villain.
That's so good. See, and okay, so for my third pick, I was gonna say Tamlin, but now I feel like that discredits all of that. Tamlin's just misunderstood if we're talking about Amarantha.
I mean, it's kind of interesting. I'm curious if you're gonna stick with Tamlin as your pick, because I would almost argue that Tamlin, bad dude, not a villain. Like, at the end of the day, he does heroic things throughout the series. He was just a personal villain of Farah. He had, and quite honestly, you could say, now a lot of people are going to give me flack for this, he really had one awful moment, 2 awful moments. The original moment where he traps her in the house, and then of course when he does the deal with the King of Hybern. But other than that, he's just
there.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be changing mine because I mean, and when you compare it to Amarantha, like there's no doubt, there's no comparison, there's nothing.
Yeah, and through the third or through the second, I mean through the last 2 books. I mean, even like just the third book, even when Tamlin is set up to be the main villain, Farah doesn't even think of him as a villain necessarily. Thinks of him as a really bad ex, which can be a villain. Don't get me wrong.
Fair, but he doesn't even do a good job of being a bad ex.
No, he doesn't.
He's not even a toxic ex. He's just there.
He's toxic to himself and his friends.
Yeah.
But once Farah's gone, who gives a shit? Fuck that guy. Let him be toxic with his people. Who cares?
That's fair.
I'm with my man.
Yeah, okay, so no, I will be changing my answer. But no, Amarantha, that was a solid. She's just vile.
She really is. She's the and it's also the. I think that there's some to do with the. I mean, I guess we should call a spade a spade. Like the fact that Reese was, I mean, by her for years, decades. Like
Yeah.
that, having that, and you know, having that kind of darkness for Reese to work through. That's what makes her such a great villain through the whole series, even though she's
Yes.
only a part of it for.
She lingers.
She lingers, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so my
Okay, so I'm gonna just bump up some picks.
yeah, my roster is Nicodemus Arcleon and Amarantha right now.
Yep.
I've only had two.
Yep.
And
I
yours
have
are
Cole from Love Haters and President Snow.
and now your third pick.
And now
Oh,
Daddy Atos.
yeah. Oh,
Not Dane, Daddy. We're going
Yeah.
we're going Daddy Atos.
yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's the punishment for the sake of punishment. It's the relentless need for information and power. It is, and like, I'm gonna, since I know where you're at, I'm going to be cautious in what I'm saying. But even if you just take him from Fourth Wing alone, he's phenomenal even in this as a villain.
Yeah.
But like, Daddy, yeah, this,
When-
he just, yeah.
When they all come back from the big thing that happens at the end of Fourth Wing, and they all come back, and he's like, "What? No, they were and like, and then the threats that he's classic great villain with all the threats and
Yep.
how he makes things come together. Great
Yep.
pick, Daddy
Absolutely
Ados.
fantastic. Oh,
Yeah.
Daddy Atos always. And like, so that scene is actually my most viral short on Instagram.
Anyway, there's nothing you or I can do to bring them back now.
He has risen, baby girl.
Fuck!
And I don't want the world to see me.
Yes, that's
I have to give
wonderful.
credit to Ben. He was like, "This is what I'm picturing," and I was like, "Oh, it's so true. It's so good."
I have one for you that you should 100% do. The Rick Astley song, "She Wants to Dance with Me." Have you heard this song?
Okay.
Is Reese talking to Tamlin? Because it goes, "She wants to dance with me, 'cause I let her be who she wants to be. She wants to dance with me."
That's amazing. Yep, that's good.
So you can have that one for free. That'll pop off.
Thanks.
It's a little late for Avatar.
I'll tag you.
All right, thanks. Appreciate that. Okay. Pick number 3.
Yep.
Okay. So I've got 2 villains from the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson.
Okay.
And I'm not going to go with the big one. I'm going to actually go with the Lord Ruler from Mistborn, the first Mistborn. So the big bad is Ruin, who is a god and all this sort of stuff, and that's eventually who they end up fighting and blah 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 blah. Right?
Okay.
But the Lord Ruler from the first Mistborn book is so, like, it's so clever because you get all of the like pieces of how this guy operates to be a god. We get all the pieces, but we really don't know how they fit together, and because they're never pointed at the Lord Ruler, they're always pointed at our main characters, and because of that, he has this air of mystery, and then the way that he gets defeated is so wonderful, and it's so and how our main character is able to actually, how Vin is able to like defeat the Lord Ruler is so wild, and it's the perfect once again, this is a book that very much is very like Christian coded, because
Oh, really? I guess I didn't realize that.
yeah, so the Lord Ruler, the whole story behind Mistborn, the first one, is that there is this small group of people who are going to rebel against the Lord Ruler. And they're trying to create an army and all this sort of stuff, and they're trying to create this revolution because there's Ska, who are the people, the low people, the workers, and all that sort of stuff. And then there's the nobles, and then there's the Lord Ruler who controls everybody. And there's going to be a Ska uprising, and so they're trying to do all this. And I'm going to do. Would you like spoilers? How do you want me to?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Spoiler.
Spoiler. Blah, blah, blah. Kelsier, who is our main character, other than Vin, Kelsier fights the Lord Ruler in the streets and is slain with a backhand. Straight up, just like gets his neck broken with a single backhand. And then that night, he resurrects from the dead, and the Ska uprising begins because, oh my gosh, they couldn't kill. He's the survivor. He's this, and so it's very like he's very Jesus coded, and that's what causes the uprising. And then the Lord Ruler is defeated by our actual main character Vin by finding out more about his history and all that sort of stuff. And so it's very, very good. I highly recommend you read the Mistborn series. But Mistborn 1 is very good. And the Lord Ruler is a great villain because you don't know anything about him until the end.
Yeah, you get the mystery.
Yep. He doesn't talk. He never talks. He just acts. And you only get to see him like do like 3 things, and you're like, fuck, this guy's awful. Like
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then the way he is redeemed in the second and third book is very interesting. And so he's a really good villain in the first book, and then to see why he did the things that he did in the second and third books, very satisfying.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
We're at number 4.
Okay. Still gonna go on to the ones that I said I was gonna do, and then my 5th pick will be my Audible here on this.
Okay, gotcha.
This one we may have to do some re-recording. It's fine.
Okay.
I'm choosing I can't even think of his name because it like just absolutely and I know that it's not his name anyway. It's like pen names for it because I'm actually going with the family, like the entirety of the mom, dad, and the 2 couple that they're with at Dinner for Vampires, Bethany Joy Lentz's memoir, where she basically talks about her time in a cult.
Oh.
That was some of the most, like, manipulative mind F of my entire, like, and the fact that it was all, like, true. Like, it's one thing to read about cult stuff when it's a fictional character, but, like, the fact that it was true, and, like, oh, I went on such a deep rabbit hole trying to figure out who these people were afterwards and everything, and, like, the sons didn't even really know what was going on. It was all the dad and the dad's friend. And then the mom, like the wives just got dragged into it. If we're doing real life characters here, that's for sure my ploy because that audiobook is phenomenal. She cries in it. I cried. She brings in like the voices of some of the One Tree Hill cast, which is kind of a fun little nod for the lighter moments. But like it was that level of manipulation. Like you figure out like she got drugged a couple times, but you find out when she found out. So then you go back and you're like, oh, that's when that happened. Like it was just it was so wild.
Man, the fact that it's real people, like that just makes
and
it so
that
much
level
worse.
of that level of mental manipulation should only be for fantasy. Like should only be for a fictional world. And the fact that it was just real life with all these celebrities, because she wasn't the only one. There were like 6 celebrities in this house.
Mm-hmm. Golly, man, what a horrible situation. Like, makes you feel gross.
So icky. So like there were times I had to turn off the audiobook because I just felt gross listening to it even.
Yeah.
I'm so glad she's made it now to the other side of all of that, but like vile humans.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, number 4 for me. I believe my last 2 are actually by the same author, and unless you steal them. From Six of Crows, Jan Van Eyck is the guy who I talked about this when we did the review of Six of Crows, or
Yep.
did the whatever. Um, he's the one who kicked his son out because he couldn't read, and then would
Oh, yeah, okay.
he would write him letters saying, "My dear son, I love you so much. Please come home," knowing full well that he would receive these letters, and he could not read them. Like, he is the most punchable villain, and he's just
Oh.
and he's all for money, and he's all
Uh-huh.
this sort of stuff, and it's so it's like the turn, because in the book you like they bring on his son as like their explosive expert, and they're like, oh, he's gonna be he's bait for Jan
Yeah.
Bennett. We have all these letters showing how much this, and then there's the turn of, no, my father hates me, my father is disgraced with me, and there's that sinking in the pit of your stomach of like, no, no.
So, okay, quick side tangent. Did you read Shadow of Bone first? Because I
I
got
haven't
Six of
read.
Crows on my birthday haul, and I got a comment that said that you had to read Shadow of Bone first.
I did not read Shadow and Bone, or Bone and whatever. I have not. I did not read that series. I have not read that series. It's in the same Grisha verse, is what it's
Right.
called,
Yeah.
by Lee Bardugo.
Yeah.
Grisha are the magic people. You pick up on it right away. Like,
Okay.
they don't explain. They don't. You don't need to find anything out. Like, they explain it pretty well. It's
So what you're saying is the Grishaverse coming to a it gets good segment near you.
coming to it gets good near you. 100%. Yeah. No, I'm with you. Yeah, you do not need to read those. I enjoyed them on their own. That duology on its own. I do want to go
I've heard
back and
such good
read
things.
those,
Yeah.
but yeah, they're totally different characters, not really tied to each other. The only thing is that they share a universe. So
Cool. Okay.
and a magic system.
Okay.
So
Cool. All right. So then for my final pick,
Yeah.
we're gonna take a tag from you and pull from the same book. We're gonna also go with Varish.
So I don't know much about Varish. I just finished the part where he's forcing Violet to throw lightning
Yep.
until
She
she
completely
almost
breaks.
yeah.
Yep.
Dog.
The thing about okay, so like Atos, while I don't agree, I understand his want for power. Like, he's already in the hierarchy, so if the right things line up, Homeboy's got power.
Sure.
Varish doesn't. Varish isn't gonna be general or whatever. Varish is just fucking evil for the sake of being evil. He wants pain. He wants bad. He wants to break her for no freaking reason other than just to watch her suffer.
Dog. I bet it's gonna come out in the next book where it's like Varish got turned down by Violet's mom or something like that. Like, this is a
Something like that.
long revenge ploy.
I have a lot of theories on him that I cannot disclose because they would be hardcore spoilers for you.
Okay.
But like I kind of am getting some vibes from him that would explain a little bit of his behavior. But regardless, like, it's pain for the sake of pain. It's torture for the sake of torture without any motive behind it right now, it feels
Yeah.
like. And that's some good villain kryptonite right there.
Yeah, man. That's good stuff. I'm excited to find out more. I'm really excited to keep on reading. So,
Oh, yeah.
and pull two from the same series. That's big time. Those big
Yep.
villains. Okay, final pick. I was trying to decide if I was going to do David from Library of Mount Char, the guy, that guy. He's a great villain. He's really awful, gross human, great villain. I'm gonna go with Dean Elliott Sandow of The Ninth House, written by Lee Bardugo, which is
That is on my list.
really good book. The Alex
It's like
Stern-
Dark Academia, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So the idea behind it is that there are 8 houses, 8 secret societies at Yale. Yale?
I think it's Yale.
I think it's Yale. There are 8 secret societies in Yale, and each one has a specific type of magic that they do, and all of them are like, dark and take like spirits, and you have to culty, like all that sort of stuff, right? And then Alex Stern, who has been able to see ghosts her entire life, gets pulled into the Lethe house, which is the ninth house, which is basically the cops of the other 8. They are the ones that are there to protect the other 8 and all this sort of stuff from bad stuff happening. And it's a phenomenal story, and Dean Sandow does a great job of not being the bad guy until the end.
Oh, I love a twist like that. I love a turn like that.
Yep.
I want a boy that I think I can trust, and then just
get torn apart.
Oh, love that.
Same exact thing. Like it's not that it comes out of nowhere. Like you kind of you don't get vibes of like this guy's good, but you also get the vibes of like this is Yale. Like the people are paying for their children to get in constantly. Like this is a bunch of people who are rich assholes. And so why wouldn't he be the same?
Right. Yeah.
So that's I really like him as a bad guy, really like him as a villain, and the way he does his villainry underneath, like just bubbling underneath, fantastic. Big fan.
That's good. That's good.
All right, that's 5. That's 5 each.
Draft.
Holy cow. Our library is filled with villains. To recap, my villains were Nicodemus Arcleon from the Harry Dresden series, the Amarantha from A Court of Thorns and Roses, the Lord Ruler from Mistborn, Jan Van Eyck from Six of Crows, and Dean Elliott Sandow of the Ninth House. Lauren, what were yours?
First, right off the bat, we had Cole from The Love Haters, little rom-com moment thrown in there. Then we hit it hot with President Snow, Hunger Games, obviously. We were gonna pull Tamlin, but that got kiboshed hard. So we moved up Daddy Atos. We switched over to the parents in Dinner for Vampires, real life moment there, and then topped it all off with some Varish.
Incredible. Great list. Great picks. Our library is filling up very nicely.
Yep. We got all kinds of bad boys.
All kinds of bad boys. And we've got a very interesting segment coming up next. It's called Recommendation Minefield. We'll be back. It's time to get into Recommendation Minefield. So we actually had someone send in that they are looking for a book recommendation. And I'm going to be honest, this is a very difficult book recommendation.
Yeah.
So this was sent in by Motivated Margins, and they said that it's much easier to describe the things that I don't like than the things that I like.
We love that.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
is great.
So Motivated Margins has read a lot of self-help and a lot of non-fiction business books, likely because of, I assume, because of work and you know,
Growing an empire.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Then said dislikes are fantasy, sci-fi, crime, thrillers, overtly like just a straight up romance, like a lot of the big like trope-y fiction stuff.
Okay.
Motivated Margins is not a fan of. What they are looking for is human stories and a bit of a cozy aspect to it. They also said that this is their first time that they are trying to just enjoy reading for the sake of reading, and
I love that.
That fiction is just not a thing that they have ever gotten into, and so, and fiction's hard to get into if you're coming from that world.
Yeah.
So it's because where do you begin? Where do you even begin in the fiction world?
You begin with us, obviously.
Absolutely. It's so funny thinking about getting started on a reading journey, because it was a couple years ago that I got started on my adult reading journey. And the first thing I did was I Googled books that feel like D&D campaigns. And because I D&D, I love D&D. love Dungeons and Dragons, love Critical Role, all that sort of stuff. So I was like, let me find some like that. And the first book that I saw that fit that, other than Lord of the Rings, which I wasn't going to read because I've already watched the movies and like I've experienced those. It ended up being a book called The Black Tongue Thief, and it's such a great read, love it to death. And that was just the kind of thing where it was like, just find things you like in other media, and then bring it into books. And so, I found a bunch of like baseball books, baseball fiction, and all that sort of stuff. Like, it just all you never stopped reading, I assume.
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's like, I'm trying to get Ben into reading a little bit more, and it's been really interesting because like you try and find things that he enjoys. Well, he watches a lot of YouTube, and he is really sports motivated.
Yeah,
cool. He likes a scary movie. So we're kind of trying, like, he's reading The Long Walk right now because he wants to read it before he watches the movie.
Yeah,
and like I forced him to read all of the Fourth Wing books, just trying to get a feel of what he's liking and what aspects of what books he enjoys or doesn't. Mm-hmm. And so, like, but it is really interesting trying to, as an adult, I so appreciate adults that want to read more, because like it's just always been so ingrained in me that like it's second nature.
Yeah, 100%. And it's such a reading is such a different time waster. And I know this is an audio podcast, so you can't see the air quotes that I'm putting up. But when I say time waster, this is the thing that Liz and I really struggled with when we had Henry. We would get to the end of the day and we would just be on our phones while he played or while he whatever. Mm-hmm. And we felt really bad about that because it's like we're not connected at all. Whereas reading, you're still disconnected. Like you aren't physically connecting with your child, right?
Yep.
But it's so much more approachable. Like when Henry sees us reading, he can see us put the book down.
Totally.
It's not stimulating us in a different way, and so that was really the thing that kind of moved us to be bigger readers.
For me, it's always been, and like this is kind of what I've tried to help Ben kind of understand, and like I think this is why I've stuck with it for so long, is because to me, I've always viewed it as a productive hobby. Like I'm such a productive, like moving forward type person that I have a hard time not feeling like shoot after I scrolled for too long on my phone because I just wasted so much time. That's also why I've never really gotten into video games. To me, it's like very like time suck. It's very like it engrosses you in a way that you leave and you kind of feel gross after. Where
it's
for
so
me,
funny because I'm the opposite with video games. Video games is a productive hobby for me.
One of my best friends is the same way because it's task oriented. You're completing the next thing. Absolutely. But for me, I always felt gross kind of doing it afterwards and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm so like, you have to be productive in that mindset. Where for me, reading has always felt like that productive mindset because of how good it is for your brain and things like that too. That like, I've been able to slow down and take the time to relax and read a book because that's where it still feels productive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that. And, to dive a little deeper into the psychology of it, like, when we were kids and going through school, like, reading a book was homework. And it was a task. It was a thing that had to get done. And so I can totally see how that then follows into adulthood of this idea of, like, if I'm reading, I'm being productive. I'm moving forward in a task, in homework, or in that sort of thing, and how that equates to that sort of stuff. I just texted Liz because Ben likes pro wrestling. She just recently read a book where the dad is a pro wrestler.
Wild card.
Nope, different book.
Oh,
it's called Margot's Got Money Troubles, and it's not really about pro wrestling. It's about a woman whose dad is distant, and he's a pro wrestler, and then she reconnects with him. And so
fun.
Yeah. Actually, interestingly enough, I'm going to recommend that book to Motivated Margins. I haven't read it yet, but it's a book, it's about human stories. And that's a thing that Motivated Margins had mentioned, is he's like, I assume this is he, now they Motivated Margins said that they like cozy and they like human stories. And so I would put this one, as Liz described it, Margot's Got Money Troubles, as one of those books where it's like, hey, it's a human story of someone who's going through a problem. It's not a whole lot of romance, but it's got really interesting characters and trying to figure out how to get through this. So that would be I think a good recommendation, both for Motivated Margins and Ben.
Heck yeah, we love a crossover.
Yeah.
No, I love that. So yeah, then one of my picks, I'm gonna go like really light because we've said that we love the self-help and the nonfiction. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go with Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. It's his memoir, so it's still nonfiction, but the way that it's written is almost self-help in a story. The way he tells his story feels like it should be fiction. And so I feel like it'd be a really good bridge to just enjoying a story first and then start to kind of progress from there. So like, if you're really apprehensive, it's a little baby step.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a really great way to move into fiction. And who better to tell a story than Matthew McConaughey?
I mean, audiobook it, obviously. For obvious reasons, audiobook that.
Yes, 100%. Or do your best Matthew McConaughey impression as you read it aloud. One of those two options.
Yes. Yes, that one, actually.
Kind of in still going down the fiction realm, I would recommend Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. And this one felt like a little bit of a stretch to recommend. Even though it is human story, it's not necessarily like super anything. But it's a little bit fantasy-esque because the main character's an octopus. You know, so the fact
but it's a real octopus. It's not a fantasy octopus.
It is not a fantasy octopus. It's a real octopus. It's a real fake octopus. It's a fake real octopus. You know, and so I think that it's a really good book, and it's going to be a Netflix film, so that's always fun.
I'm so intrigued on how they're going to do this. How they're going to make it a Netflix. Like,
very curious.
Yeah.
Very, very curious. But so it's not fantasy, but it brings aspects of fantasy into it to kind of open that doorway a little bit.
Yeah.
Because there's such a wide world of fantasy fiction, and not all of it is elves and dragons and all that sort of stuff.
That's fair.
I think this is a good stepping off point.
That's good. I like that. My next pick for them is going to be Where the Crawdads Sing by Delilah Owens.
Yeah.
This is one of the most gorgeously written books that I have, I think, ever read. Like, I'll be honest, the story, I struggled a little bit to get into, but because of how gorgeously it was, I was so enthralled. Goodreads calls this a mystery. It's a historical fiction mystery romance. So it does have a couple of the things that we said we're not comfortable with, but first and foremost, it is just a human story. It's about Kaya, and she's considered like this marsh girl, and so you get the perspective of like the townsfolk and how they view her versus who she really is and who she actually is and her life, and it's stunning. It's absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, there is a little bit of like romance, but I think the romance in it is very just human connection. It's not like lovey-dovey tropey romance. It's just simply human connection. And the mystery in it is like just part of the plot. Like, it's not like a mystery book. Who done it? Who did it? You know, it's just part of her life. And it's just like absolutely so well written.
I think that's a phenomenal pick. I really think a really great recommendation for Motivated Margins. I'm gonna actively go against one of the things that they dislike for my last like here is what I think you should read. The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune is so wonderful, and it's not fantasy. It is, because one of the main characters is like the Antichrist. But like it is so much more about being ostracized and about not being given a chance and learning. It's a perspective thing, right?
Yeah.
And so I really think that while it is fantasy, it's very light fantasy, and it's all the characters are a fantasy character the only reason why they are fantasy characters is because you kind of already have a small understanding of what's going on. You don't have to be a lover of fantasy novels to know who the Antichrist is, or that. I think that's
a little bit more magical realism.
Yes, that's a great way of putting it.
Full fantasy.
Yep, I think that's a great way of putting it. So I would recommend those books for sure. So
Love that. Okay, my last one, I'm going to go with Eleanor Olympiant is Completely Fine. This was a quirky little book that I thoroughly enjoyed. Goodreads classifies it as a contemporary fiction, but it also has a lot of like mental health representation, which I think kind of grounds it a lot more in that nonfiction world, because the way that mental health is portrayed is so wonderful in this book. And I mean, you want human connection, that's literally what this book is. Like, Eleanor Olympiant is a routine, sticks to herself, like, absolutely by the book. Probably a lot of, like, it doesn't, like, diagnose her or anything in the book, but it's very, like, she's probably a lot of OCD, some type A tendencies, probably a little neurospicy, like, very, very strict in her ways. And she comes across this guy, and they kind of become friends, and it's about her opening up because he is messy and he is very flighty and things like that. And so, like, there's a little bit of romance in it. Obviously, again, I feel like the romance in it is simply because of the human connection. It's not, that's the point of it's not a romance book. It is a personal story of her. And, like, it was, again, very well written, very out of, like, very much took me by surprise when I read it on just how much that I, like, related to and felt this character through the book itself. And so very human interest, very cozy. Highly recommend.
Nice. Great picks. I really think that, I think we gave some really good recommendations for a pretty tough recommendation minefield for this one.
Oh, yeah. Not liking fantasy or romance does kind of limit things. Or crime. Also kind of limits
thrillers,
things.
Like, there's a lot of really good stuff out there that falls under those categories. Because even, like, the book that I was telling you that I started reading, the Tracker series or whatever, that's crime. Like, it's a tough one, but I think, dang it, we did our job.
Absolutely. Which, if you want to be in the next episode when we do this, now we won't be doing everything every time. You already know we're kind of switching things up every episode. But next episode that we pull a prompt again, let us know. Hit us down in the comments. Do you know a picky reader? Are you a picky reader? Do you just need a little bit of, like, broadening your horizons? Drop in the comments.
100%. And, you know, while you're down there, be sure to like, subscribe, 5 stars, all the stuff. Do the things that you're supposed to do when you like a thing, please.
Obviously, we don't need to repeat them. We all know. We're here together on this.
We're here together. We're all consumers of content. We know what's going on here. I'm Austin. Thanks so much for joining us. Lauren, where can they find you?
Everywhere. I am on the TikToks, the Instagrams, and the YouTubes under Lauren's Lifestyle. So always go hit me up there. The profile picture is the same across the board, so you'll know you have found me. And thank you so much for tuning in, as always.
And my social medias that I may or may not use are Radio Guy Austin or Dice Guy Austin across various stuff, and eventually Book Guy Austin probably will be up eventually. Nobody take that, please. I don't want to have to buy it. That's going to do it for Chit Chat and Chapters this week. We'll see you next time.